Hey, Coach, crazy time we've all been through. What's it been like for you working with your position group and really just coaching during this time as we try to get enough guys ready to play come September 26th?
It's been good. I think you get to spend a lot of time with your guys, a lot of meeting time, things like that, walking through things. So you can really go into detail about specific techniques and ways to play, certain schemes and certain plays the offense has. So it's been good.
We'll go to Jordan Kramer and then Jimmy Himes.
Hey, Brian. Obviously, every guy's kind of had an extended period of time away from the practice field that kind of amplified for Jeremy Banks. How would you kind of assess his development and kind of also his transition back to football?
Jeremy's been great. He, continues to do all the right things and, give his best effort every day. And that's all we ask for him, and for us, it's how do we put him in a good position to be successful?
Jimmy?
Brian, we've heard Coach Pruitt talk about wanting linebackers who can play all four spots. How many linebackers do you have that can play all four? And also, we heard Quavarius Crouch bragging about the leadership leading the other linebackers in his group.
Well, I lost you a little bit on the end there, Jimmy. I don't know if kind of internet you got.
As far as Henry To'oTo'o, would you talk about the leadership he's brought to the linebacker group? Because Quavarius Crouch was talking about how important Henry's been to him.
Henry is a really good leader. I think when he came out of high school, he led by example, and I think he's really embraced the role of, bringing other guys along as well. As in terms of our linebacker group, we're a versatile group, that can do a lot of different things. So it's been nice. You've been able to put people in different positions, which is awesome.
All right, we'll go to Blake Totmeyer next, followed by Austin Price.
Hey, Brian, you're a guy that's had some success on the recruiting trail past couple years. How would you, assess what the new assistants that you're working with this year, how they do as recruiters? Anything that stands out about maybe Joe Osavet or Shelton Felton as you see them doing their thing in recruiting?
Man, they're doing a great job. I think the new guys that we brought on, along with Jimmy Brumbaugh and Jay Graham, those guys being able to connect with kids and just they have personalities that people want to be around. And I think that speaks volumes, especially to a younger generation. So they've been great additions to the staff.
Austin?
Coach, you worked on the defensive side at Alabama. To go back over there, how much more natural do you feel maybe working with linebackers? And then two of your prized guys at your position that you coach now are two guys that you recruited personally, and Henry and Quavarius. How much does that help making that move when you have such a close relationship with two of your best players at your position?
I think it's making a relationship with all those guys with, Aaron Beasley, Solon Page, Jeremy Banks. It's key no matter what position you're in to have a good relationship with all those guys. For me, moving back to linebackers, it was a sense of comfort because I started out there when I first coached in college with Michael Barrow at the University of Miami, and moving on through with Coach Pruitt and at Georgia and then Alabama. So it's been a much easier transition for me than probably more so than if I was going the other direction.
We'll go to Patrick Brown, then Mike Wilson.
Right, kind of following up on Banks, when he started out this preseason, how far behind was he, having not been in the program for so long? Was it like taking over a freshman and coaching him, or kind of where was he at in terms of kind of learning and playing catch up after he was out for so long?
Jeremy's an instinctive guy, so and he's a smart guy. So I wouldn't say that we were behind the eight ball in terms of anything schematically. I think he is just like the rest of the guys. We're just trying to get better each day and maximize his potential and ability on the field at all times.
Mike?
Yeah, Brian, Q yesterday talked about just learning the concepts and not just having to kind of memorize what's going on anymore now that he's on the inside. How have you seen him adjust to that move and really come to grasp with what he's got to do as an inside linebacker?
He's adjusted well.
All right, we'll go to David Ubbin and then Matthew Ray.
Brian, what are the biggest factors that are going to decide who you see on the field most often next to Henry at that other inside linebacker spot?
I mean, it's open competition at all times, David. For Henry, for everybody. Doesn't matter if you're the Mike, Will, Money, or Mac. I mean, it's an open competition each day. So you talk about production, number one. You know, you talk about being accountable, doing all the right things on and off the field. That's what it's about. I mean, there's no specific attribute that you're going to say, well, if this guy is great at this, he's going to start, or this guy. It's an open competition every day. And I think that's the way you have the best program. So it's not so much individually a specific issue. It's, hey, this is what we have to do. This is how we're going to compete every day, and it brings the best out in everybody.
Matthew?
Brian, when the pandemic kind of set in and everything took a back seat to that, how did you kind of handle the recruiting trail, and what kind of challenge was that for you and trying to adapt and talk to guys in a different way?
Well, I don't think you talk to people in a different way. I think you still have the same conversations with them. It's about personal connections and, you know, how you relate to them. Now, on the other part of it, you don't get to see them face to face. So how are you going to do campus tours without them being here? How are you going to show them the inner workings of the facility, the inner workings of the program, how you coach, you know, how do they feel you, you know, without being able to see you in person? That's tough. But I think Coach Pruitt put a big emphasis on it, on, you know, building relationships and us, you know, being around, you know, at least the building, right, when we're here now and talking to kids at all times. I don't think recruiting ever stops. And I think he's kind of the driving force of that car, you know, is he's always, you know, pushing us and continuing, you know, to make us recruit at all times. But it's the lifeblood of the program, so he understands that better than anybody.
All right, next we'll go to Wes Rucker, followed by Rick Russo.
Hey, Brian, I know that you're coaching the inside backers, but in general, when you're talking about, you know, being an outside backer versus being an inside backer, how much more sort of mentally taxing is it to play inside, if you think it is?
I mean, they're both pretty tough. I think, you know, you're making more calls. You're more of a signal caller. Also, Wes, you got one hell of a setup back there, man. Just so you know.
We're professionals here.
I got that. So, no, I think for us just making calls, but it's hard with the outside backers as well. You know, I think they have to have a certain level of understanding, just even in coverage. I mean, some people think that it's more of a pass rushing position and playing on the edge and things, but they have to know so much in terms of alignment, you know, where the safeties are coming down, where their support is. So I would say, you know, they're both equally taxing.
All right, Rick?
I didn't have a question, Sean. I'm sorry. I took the hand down. My bad.
Worries. We'll go to Austin Price and then back to Jimmy Himes.
Brian, what have you been able to see from some of the outside guys? I know that's not necessarily, you know, the position you coach, but, you know, for a guy like J.J. Peterson, who, you know, was working some inside and then bounced outside, has he been able to make any strides in fall camp?
Well, that seems like a Sheldon Felton question there, Austin Price. No, I think everybody this offseason is in this camp has made strides. You know, I think he does a great job coaching them. I think, you know, Shelton's attention to detail is spectacular, and the way that he relates to kids, I think it's one of the main reasons, you know, Coach Pruitt hired him, is what a good coach he is, and a guy that can develop kids, whether it be high school, whether it be here, anywhere. So, you know, I have full trust that all those guys have made strides, and you can see it.
All right, we'll go to Jimmy Himes, and we'll finish up with Trey Wallace.
Brian, South Carolina's got a new offensive coordinator, Mike Bobo, and I wonder the challenges that you face when you're going against somebody that's new to another system offensively.
Well, Mike Bobo is new, but he's been in the league, and I think everybody has a little bit of a history with Mike Bobo around the SEC because he's been in it forever. But yeah, I mean, anytime you're going in, there's a new system, on the other side, and your first game, it's always a little different. But we're just working each day to do our best.
All right, we'll finish with Trey.
Brian, what have you talked to the older players about trying to keep the younger guys doing the right thing during this pandemic where you guys can get a whole football season in? And what kind of advice or maybe instruction have you given these younger guys where you guys don't have to spread that around and you're able to play a whole year?
Well, Coach Pruitt has a great plan, and, he has a leadership council, and they talk, all the time. And, but it's about, when I talk to the older guys in our room, it's about doing the right things, being safe, wearing your mask, being accountable for those things. And, they've done a great job.
All right. Thank you, Coach. Appreciate it.